Give me 1 second and the floor is yours. All right, you're all set, Pratik.
Perfect. Thank you, Shelley. Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome to October's session of Tech Talk Tuesday, or what my mom likes to call Tech Talk with Pratik. I'm your host, Pratik Patel, a technology consultant with Ingram Micro. I love using this forum to really showcase the latest technologies with a panel of experts so we can help you, my partner community, to really understand the latest innovations and uncover new sales opportunities. This month, we'll be focusing on storage solutions that incorporate both Veeam and Lenovo solutions. Plus, we want to understand how they all work together to really improve the return on investment and time to value. Over the weekend, my son, asked me what I was doing, and I told him, I was preparing for the storage discussion on Tuesday, and I said, yeah, don't worry about it. It's complicated. And without missing a beat, that kid says, life is complicated. Storage shouldn't be. That just hit me really hard. I was thinking, because I agree with him 100%. Storage shouldn't be complicated. And I think that's really one thing that I've learned from my customers is that is the reason why they rely on Lenovo storage solutions to really simplify and deliver outcome-based solutions and to address, some of those common pain points, such as, the need for additional capacity, constant access to storage, and really the infrastructure that they have really isn't really meeting their performance needs. Not only that, but Lenovo storage solutions have helped them to meet some common business goals. Really, think about reducing TCO, receiving faster ROI, simplifying management of like the entire data center, adding agility to IT infrastructure, and really delivering broad security capabilities. So really my advice to you is that, if you're a partner that isn't recommending or even really considering Lenovo storage solutions for your customers, then you're leaving money on the table and you really need to, just take another look at their solutions. The overall solution for that Lenovo has for their storage portfolio really consists of SAN, NAS, DAS, and even archive solutions. Anything and really everything that your customer would need to address performance, capacity, agility, availability, and cloud needs. And that's precisely why my partners actually look to this particular forum for my panel of experts from Veeam and Lenovo, really to help us to not only understand the what and the how, but really the why behind these solutions. So to help me make sense of it all, joining me today are my star panel. Let me actually stop sharing and get to them. Perfect. First, we have Andrew Stammworthy, a Veeam technical account manager with Ingram Micro. Hello, Andrew. I'm really thrilled to have you here today. Could you tell us about your role and really also, what type of support you provide to the partner community?
Well, thank you very much, Pratik, and thank you everyone for joining today. So my role is as a technical advisor and consultant for all of our reseller partners here at Ingram Micro, specifically when it comes to any questions regarding Veeam from a pre-sales technical perspective. So that can be things from just answering quick questions about a particular feature or functionality to trainings on the products and demos and end customer engagements and sizing opportunities and everything in between. So I'm here as that resource for all of our reseller partners with Ingram to help them in any way that they need from a, again, pre-sales technical perspective. And then I do have a team on our Veeam side to help with all of the pricing and programs and things like that that go along with it from a sales perspective.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Andrew. Next, we have Alex Perez-Puelles, a strategic alliances lead with Lenovo. Hello, Alex. I appreciate you making time for us today. Could you tell us about your role at Lenovo and really your experience with storage and Veeam solutions?
Perfect. Thank you for the invite. I really appreciate the opportunity to participate. I joined Lenovo a couple of years ago to manage and develop the strategic software alliances. It's a whole ecosystem we have that we created for many years on completing the solution, right? Because at the end of the day, customers they do not want to acquire or want advice on a single piece. They want to understand the complete stack that is included in the solution. So as part of the role, obviously it goes from the operational side, get involved in pricing, therefore discounting, deal reg, all of those more mundane kind of things. But the more exciting part is the business development, right? How do we partner with our ISB strategic alliances like Veeam and get together with our distribution partners and value-added resellers? And how do we provide the best solution available to the end user, right? At the end of the day, they want something that doesn't just solve the issue, but solve it effectively, inexpensively, and it's a very robust solution, right? So that goes along with doing marketing, business development, presentations, and obviously we're always evaluating what the newer technologies, newer products. Veeam themselves are introducing new versions of the software, new capabilities every day. So how do we externalize those capabilities to our community?
Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Alex. That sounds like 4 or 5 job titles right in one job title there. So thank you.
Appreciate
and finally, we have Ryan Scherrer, a channel account manager for storage with Lenovo. Hello, Ryan. It's great to have you here today. Could you tell us about your role at Lenovo and your experience with, really selling storage in that channel?
Yeah, thanks, Pratik. No, I'm happy to be here. So my role was added on at Lenovo about 6-7 months ago now. That's when I came over here. Actually, was Ingram badged prior to coming here, and I supported Lenovo Data Center for the entire time that I was there. My role really, to put it simply, is to support our tier 2. So any authorized silver, gold partners in our partner base is to help support you grow storage and kind of help close more opportunities, win more deals, any kind of education, demos, things you want to see, things you want to learn. Really, I'm kind of the go-to guy. If I don't know it, I can help you get to the person who does know it. So I'm really just here to help support you with our storage portfolio, and then kind of grow your business that way. Like Pratik said, a lot of people aren't asking the storage questions. There's a lot of money being left on the table if you don't do that.
Yep. Thanks, Ryan. Yeah, everyone, I just want to kind of mention, Ryan will be a great resource for you. So if we need to get a hold of him, we'll have some contact information later on, but you can definitely reach out to us. But yeah, again, like I said, please leverage Ryan, great asset. So, before we begin, let's get a couple of housekeeping things out of the way here. First, we'll share the recording link once it's posted on YouTube. Next, I want you to put all your questions in the chat, no matter what type of question it is. I want you to put in the chat because we want to be able to make this a more than just a one-way conversation. So, definitely, I open it up for you for that way. That's it. Let's get started. Hey, Andrew, let me start with you. I realize an easy way to deliver like a holistic storage solution to customers is to really bundle Lenovo storage infrastructure with the Veeam platform. But just to level set, could you give us a quick summary about Veeam solutions, and then also, if you can explain how Veeam is really revolutionized, how customers are really backing up, recovering, and managing their data?
Absolutely. So there's really one core Veeam product, right? We've really simplified how you acquire and utilize Veeam as a software, and that's Veeam backup and replication. You no longer have these disparate, do I have a VMware environment, a Hyper-V environment, this, that, or the other thing? You have just this one product that does everything, and we're constantly expanding that and adding to it as we continue to expand and develop Veeam. So whether it's Hyper-V, VMware, Nutanix, Red Hat, bare metal, Windows, Linux, Mac, servers, workstations, AWS, Azure, Google Cloud, Microsoft Office 365, which is technically a separate product, but that's the only one. All of those other items all fall under this one piece of software, this one deployment, and that really simplifies things for managing those customers, for managing that environment, right? You don't have to have, different SKUs, different licenses, different softwares to manage all your different servers. So having all of that come under one roof and really putting that single pane of glass, as we like to say, really helps to enhance our customer experience and help them manage all of that data and backups. And then doing things like expanding ransomware protection, right? That's our big buzzword these last couple of years. Doing things like our newest Linux hardened repository on-prem. That's the biggest feature recently that I like to tout, where we can have immutable storage, meaning that it's protected from not just ransomware, but malicious actors in general, so that that data is protected in an on-prem environment with a Linux server. So essentially free, you just spin up a server with some disk on it and away you go. And all that put together with our simplified licensing program of the universal license, really a great solution. And then obviously when you pair it with someone like Lenovo, who we have some integrations with that we'll talk a little bit about later, I'm sure, it really gives you that one holistic environment.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you, Andrew. Everyone, we'll have more details on the product themselves a little bit later on, but I think this is a good time to kind of move to Ryan. As a Lenovo CAM, I know you must have some unique insight into like the different storage use cases that other partners are really delivering to their customers. Could you give us some of that insider knowledge about what you're seeing in the channel, and let us know really what the different verticals are where that the Lenovo ThinkSystem DE and DM series really play well?
Yeah, absolutely. So, our DE/DM product line is going to have a solution for really any type of workload or need that you can think of. They cover a lot of different verticals, a lot of different things. Our DE is kind of the go-to pairing with our Veeam solutions right now. It serves its purpose very well. It's extremely cost-effective, and our relationship with Veeam is extremely strong. Everything kind of works together without any issues. What I'm seeing more and more each day is a lot of customers who went all cloud are starting to come back and kind of going for that hybrid environment, right? Everybody kind of jumped on that bandwagon and then realized the overall cost to do so wasn't really what they thought it was going to be. People get a lot of surprise bills, and they weren't expecting it. You just kind of do the math on it. A lot of people are actually able to pull back and put a server or two on site for certain applications, and it's more cost effective, right? Some of our servers are running 8+ years right now. People are getting a lot more time out of them than they were in the past. Another thing is the performance, right? So we actually had a opportunity for the end user, Google, and they came to us and they wanted a DM solution. It was really cool that they wanted it because they could not get the performance necessary from the cloud for the application they were trying to run. So they actually were able to run it on our DM solution on site. So it just kind of shows another really important use for it. The on-prem's not going anywhere. There's just certain things that are going to run better in certain places, and kind of helping your customers understand that and have that conversation kind of prevents issues in the future. As far as verticals, DM is going to be really, really good in the VDI database analytics space. DE is going to be, it's our leader amongst our competition in price per terabyte. So it's really good for backup targets, high performance computing. It also it performs very well in the video surveillance space. It's underutilized a lot, but we actually have a lot of success in partners that are using it for video surveillance solutions and to back that data up.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. Thanks for that great insight. Alex, so far, we've heard a lot about, the storage solutions from Veeam and Lenovo. And I know many channel partners, that Ingram Micro really works with already have Veeam products in their portfolio and really participate in the Veeam channel program. So could you tell us about what advantages does this offer them for that Lenovo and Veeam alliance? Really, what does it bring to them? And really, how is it acquiring Veeam through Lenovo going to improve the overall solution that they can really deliver to their customers?
Great question. So obviously, Veeam has done a great job, a stellar job of developing their channel program, right? And they've done a great job of signing channels into their channel program. So basically, what we've done with the relationship with Veeam is we're getting together the most reliable server available in the market with the fastest growing storage in the market, with the most reputable and fastest growing backup solution, most inclusive backup solution in the market, all together in a single platform. And basically, we're giving our channel partners the ability to order everything as a single stop. But it doesn't just stop there, right? You can buy the backup software as well as the server and the storage all in one shot. However, we have a range of experts that can help you with the design, the sizing. We have hundreds of experts, people certified within Lenovo that can help our channel partners develop the best solution for their customers, as well as a whole network of other software products that interface or touch into the alliance with Veeam as well, right? So as I alluded before, we have a whole ecosystem. And most of the time, these solutions are not a single piece of software or a single piece of hardware. It includes many players, right? And we have a very large portfolio of partners. Obviously, single point of contact is very important, especially when you're troubleshooting, developing, rolling out. It's always important that we're not just reselling the solution. We actually have a strategic alliance with Veeam, and we work together in the needs of our customers every day, basically.
So Alex, just to clarify, Lenovo is is channel first and really has a great channel program on its own. Then really, how would that, how would acquiring Veeam through Lenovo affect the partner's ability to really participate in Veeam's channel program? The way I'm thinking about it is, would that be like double dipping? And actually that's a good thing, right?
Great question. And that's a question that many channel partners that we have asked, right? And as you alluded to, we're channel first. We do want to use our channel partners and partner with them to go to provide the best solution available to customers. Now, the question gets asked, well, I already participate in the Veeam channel program. I participate in the Lenovo channel program. Will I be missing out of one of them, depending on how I purchase? And the answer is no. Basically, as you alluded to, you get to double dip. So it's the best of both worlds. Veeam has been very proactive and very channel friendly as well as alliance friendly. They didn't want the alliance to create an additional cost for our partners or customers. They didn't want also the channel partners to miss out of any benefits, right? So in many cases, we're doing events together, Veeam and Lenovo, like this particular activity today. And we welcome to do the same kind of thing with our channel partners, right? As we're doing here with you today. So effectively, in summary, when you sell the Lenovo Veeam part number, right, which is available through you as an example, they will participate in both channel programs at the same time as we report those sales into Veeam, and basically it gets counted towards their different metrics at Veeam. Same way with the channel account managers, the people that the channel partners work with at Veeam as well as Lenovo. Everybody is responsible for the relationship. Everybody gets compensated for the relationship. Everybody is made whole when you buy and integrate Lenovo and Veeam together through Lenovo.
Perfect. Yep, that's great, because I know a lot of partners are worried about that. Who gets paid at the end, and if they have a specific, basically a person that they like, they want to make sure that they're compensated properly. So I appreciate that.
Definitely.
So yeah. So Alex, just to kind of take that conversation just a little further, cybersecurity is top priority for every customer. And really for that reason, Ingram Micro offers an extensive line card of products and services to help, channel partners deliver comprehensive, cybersecurity solutions to their customers. You can actually go to a website called cybersecurity line card or securitylinecard.com, and that actually has all the offerings. But let me digress. And I've really noticed that data management is usually not part of that conversation. So what I've actually seen is, in terms of this alliance, I've seen messaging that's linking these solutions to cybersecurity and ransomware. So could you kind of help us understand the overall relationship of backing up and data management?
Yeah, Definitely. So in one of my prior lives, I was working in the cybersecurity industry, and we really never talked about backup and recovery as one of the solutions. You always focus on every other type of solution. And as you know, in cybersecurity, the solutions every day seems to be more complex and more products, right? You start with the firewalls, you start with intrusion prevention, you're protecting servers, you're protecting end user devices with virus detection.
I hope you are doing well also, period.
Sorry about the noise. I'm not sure where it's coming from. Anyways, CISOs and the cybersecurity departments are usually not including backup and recovery as one of their strategies. However, when one of these products that they selected for cybersecurity fail to stop the attack, which happens often, by the way, as you see in the news, really the last line of defense is your backup, right? That's how you can recover to where you were without having to pay that ransom, as an example. So it should definitely be part of the CISO conversation and the whole cybersecurity. It is your insurance policy when you do get when your infrastructure gets vulnerable and when it gets penetrated, right? Ransomware is something that is happening everywhere. It's in the news everywhere. Well, even when you pay, you may not get everything back. With a backup, you do. With the right backup. And again, it has to be something which is modern, is designed for today's day, right? Remember that everything is hybrid these days. So the backup solution has to be flexible enough to be able to protect all entities. As a service, your information as a service, as well as what you got in the cloud, as well as what you have on-prem. Everything in one place, you can bring it back to where you were without having to pay the ransom.
Perfect. Yep. Thank you. I see a hand up. Did you want to unmute yourself and ask the question? Okay, let's move on. But I'll ask again a little bit later, I guess, when we get to the end part of it. So let's kind of continue here. So Ryan, to kind of build upon what Alec kind of just talked about, with ransomware and other malicious attacks really being a constant threat, business continuity and disaster recovery, or BCDR for short, is really top of mind for many customers. So then how can channel partners help their customers to really understand the threat and also propose solutions that can really mitigate that threat?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, a couple of things on there, right? The number one thing I would say is, engage with us more and learn more about what types of solutions we offer, right? There's so many different kind of routes and avenues you can take. There's so many different things that we offer that you can pair together to kind of create the truly custom solution that may be needed in the environment that you're trying to solve that problem, right? I mean, an example, right, is we could pair our DM, which runs ONTAP, with ProLion for ransomware security, and then have Veeam on the back end as well to kind of handle all the backups, right? Everything kind of functions seamlessly. It handles everything. And to Alex's point, that's going to be, if it reaches that point where everything's down and your backup is all you're dependent on, like that's it. That if you don't have it, you're done. There's people that kind of lose their business over that, and it's kind of sad to see, right? Another thing I would say is ask more questions. If a solution is in place, it's funny. We have a lot of conversations with people who have, they said, I don't need this. I don't need Veeam. I have a backup solution. It works great. And so, okay, cool. When was the last time you tested it? Oh, well, I haven't had to. Go test it. See what happens. And in 9 out of 10 times, if it's not a good, well put together solution, the backup, it works, but it only backs up it only gets like 40% of their stuff back, maybe 50%. And then they're like, well, what happened? Well, it didn't work. It wasn't set up right. You didn't test it. You didn't proactively look at it. Right. So there's a lot of value in using solutions that work seamlessly together. There's a lot of value in kind of combining Lenovo with Veeam, with ProLion, with all of these things, because it prevents that from happening. Another thing, would be just engage the resources within Lenovo and Ingram to help you. We have a lot of options available. Technology is constantly changing. We're constantly adding things to our line card. It's why we have experts in every single department and in category, right? Nobody can know everything. I do my best to try to know a little bit about enough just to get to the right person with some of this stuff. But our portfolio is so much more than just DEDM and Veeam and ProLion. We've added Weka, we've added Vast, we've added Cloudy, and we've there's an endless amount of things that we can do and help kind of have that conversation with you.
Perfect. Yep. Just to kind of follow up on what you kind of said earlier here, we have SMB partners on the call today that might be thinking, their customers are, probably just way too small to even get hit with a ransomware, or even, why would somebody care about, attacking them? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so I always answer that question the same way. I don't have anything to prove this, but I'm confident enough in it. Any super successful ransomware attack where somebody walked away with $1 million, they had to learn it. They had to practice it, right? They had to run it on someone else to make sure that it would successfully work when they went after who they were truly trying to go after. And if you think they don't test it on small partners, you're dead wrong, right? This past summer, my wife, she works for a transportation company, and they had a Christmas in July party. So I went and was talking with her CEO of the company, and we ended up talking about technology. And he ended up talking to me about the fact that it was about a year ago, came into the office at 7 a.m., turned it on, boom, ransomware attack happened in the middle of the night. He didn't know what to do. He called this tech guy. Thankfully, he had a solution in place. They were able to pull all the snapshots necessary, wipe everything, pull it back up as of like 2 hours before the ransomware attack hit. And by like 2 p.m, he was up and running. The business was saved, no problems. But he openly said, I'm a small company in Buffalo, New York. Why would anyone come after me? They will. Anybody will come after you. Some people just do this for fun. I'm convinced that some people just enjoy doing it, right? So I would say there's no such thing as being too small for this to hit you. If you're saying that, you're setting yourself up for disaster, really. I've talked with partners who the way they addressed it. One of the partners, the one day, he was talking with a small, like a charitable organization, and they said, well, I don't need this. I'm small. And he said, well, if I walked into your server room right now and I ripped all the Ethernet ports out of the back of your servers, what would happen to the business? He said, well, everything would go down. I wouldn't know what to do. He's like, well, let's go do it, because that's what you're setting yourself up for. So, a lot of people view it as a cost, right? Some people are scared of what it's going to cost me to put in a true solution. It's not nearly as expensive as people think, and it can be scaled down for very small environments. So I would encourage you to always have that conversation and put something in front of them.
I like that. Never too small.
Never too small.
That's it. That's
you
it.
can run Veeam on anything. So you can SR250 with one proc, it'll run Veeam, right? So don't count yourself out.
Perfect. Yeah. Great segue there, Ryan. Thank you. Andrew, I know Veeam has that, that famous 3-2-1-0 backup rule. Do you mind kind of bringing everyone up to speed on this meeting and really what benefits can come from following that rule?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me share a slide here that we can show what this talks about. So everyone kind of knows the industry standard 3-2-1 rule, but just to review it here, right? What that 3-2-1 means is 3 copies of your data on 2 different types of media and 1 offsite. The 3 copies of your data, one is your production data, right? The data itself, and then 2 backups. And why 2 backups? Because 1 backup is 0 backups and 2 backups is 1 backup, because you always assume that something's going to fail. So having 2 different backups means that if something went wrong during the backup, which it happens, like we're not going to lie here, like stuff happens. That's why we do this. You want to have another backup. And obviously the more the better, but 3 is really a good middle, like safe area. And then 2 different media, we're again diversifying. We want some of it on spinning disks, some of it on tape, some of it in the cloud, all those kinds of things. That's what we talk about, different media types, because if it's all on, the same storage device on spinning disks, well, spinning disks fail. The cloud might go down, the tape drives might get corrupted, things like that. So again, diversifying so that we have less chance of catastrophic failure of all of our stuff all at once. And then 1 offsite copy, because if our backups and our main data are right next to each other in the same rack and our building is on fire, well, we can't access any of it, right? So we want to make sure that some of that data is in a separate geographic location. It could be the next building over, it could be the other side of the world. It just has to be somewhere else so when the building explodes, you can get access to it. And I've actually had customers call about this. So a couple of years ago when those earthquakes hit in Salt Lake City, we got a call from someone who said, hey, you know, that earthquake hit, we got a busted water main, a busted gas main, and the power's out in our building. All of our backups are in there. Like, what can you do for us? And I was like, well, you should have fixed it yesterday because now you got nothing. Right. But then we take this 3-2-1 rule and we take it to another level, and Veeam added this 3-2-1-1-0. So what is this extra 1 and 0? Well, it's primarily marketing stuff. But what this means is the extra 1 is you want air-gapped backups. At least one copy of your data should be air-gapped or immutable. Air-gapped traditionally has been a tape drive, right? You write that data to a tape. Once you remove that tape from the drive, it is no longer connected to a computer. No one can access that data, which means ransomware can't access that data. Now, that's been great for a long time, but it has a big downside, which is it's slow to get that data back, right? When that failure happens, when you have to recover your data, you got to go find that tape, you got to put it into the drive, you got to read all the data off of it, then you can do your recovery. And it's still the gold standard, but modern technology has given us immutability, which is 99% the same level of security, right? So this is software based where we can make that data read only essentially, so that we can put the data onto that disk, like I said earlier, the Linux hardened repository or something like Object Lock with Amazon S3 or something like that, and do the same thing that a tape drive does. We can put that data somewhere that ransomware or malicious attackers can't access it, but we lose that downside of the speed. So we can actually continuously access this data. We can read from it. We just can't make any changes to it. So it's protected. So 99% of the benefits, but none of the downsides. And then 0 of our 3-2-1-1-0 is no errors. And this goes back to what Ryan just said about verifying backups, making sure that your backups are working. A lot of people don't do that. And your backups are no good if you haven't checked them. You know, always assume that they've failed unless you're verifying them. Veeam has something called Sure Backup, which is an automated verification of your backups. You build a little sandbox environment on one of your hosts, and you can tell Veeam, hey, take these machines and automatically restore them into the sandbox, perform some tests on them, and then shut it all down again and email me a report. And Veeam will go ahead and do that for you on whatever schedule you want. You want it quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily, doesn't matter. Veeam will go ahead and do it for you and just send you an email saying, hey, all your backups are good. Or, hey, something went wrong and your backups are not functional. And you have the chance to fix it before the failure occurs so that you're not stuck in that situation where you go to recover a file or a virtual machine and find out your backups haven't worked in 6 months, right? No one wants to be in that situation. So that's the expansion of that 3-2-1 rule, now the 3-2-1-1-0 rule. Bit of a mouthful, but definitely a good rule of thumb to live by to make sure that you're meeting this standard so that you've got at least a base level good backup solution.
Okay, so Andrew, there was a question in the chat about pricing for on the Veeam side. So one thing I can kind of say is I'll get you the contact information for the person that put it in the thing. Maybe if you want to send it over to your team later on and have them, kind of, have a call and just kind of talk about, what's available and what they can do. All right.
Yeah, our Veeam licensing team can absolutely talk to you about pricing questions like that.
Okay. So then, I think I've heard enough of Veeam at this point. I really want to be able to see the tool in action, really, because I think it's really going to help to understand how easy the platform and the integrations are to use. For that reason, could you provide a quick demo for us? And then, I think you have enough time to be able to kind of go through the full demo that you provide.
Absolutely. We could do a quick demo here of the Veeam interface and doing a backup and a recovery. So this is Veeam Backup and Replication. It's running in our Business Transformation Center here at Ingram Micro on some demo hardware. And Veeam is very flexible, right? It can be deployed in a matter of minutes in a basic environment. It could take weeks and months to fine tune it on larger, sprawling, multi-site deployments. Excuse me. And that's really the flexibility of Veeam, is that it can do just about everything with just one core software. It can scale and grow as needed. And so let's take a look at one of our Veeam backup jobs here, our basic backup job. And everything here is pretty straightforward and wizard driven primarily. So we give our backup job a name and a description so we know what we're looking at when we come back to it later. And then we simply pick what machines are going to be part of this job. We could select individual machines like I have here. We can add things from our vCenter that we've set up previously, either grabbing individual machines or individual hosts or whole clusters all at once if we wanted to, and then do a whole cluster as one backup job. It really comes down to what the needs are of the business. How do you want to split up your jobs? Do you have different retention policies, different schedules for your backups? Maybe some data is more critical than others. You want to back it up hourly versus daily, or retain it for a week versus a month, that kind of thing. We also have the ability to use VM tags and things like that. So if you were to, say, create a tag called, regular backup and critical backup and things like that in vCenter, then when you create new virtual machines and apply that tag, Veeam will automatically catch those. You don't have to go and update the backup jobs in Veeam to catch those new machines. Then, simple as pick our repository on where this is going to go. It could be a Lenovo system. It could be going to a scale out repository, which uses cloud storage to augment your on-prem storage and things like that. We set our retention policy and our GFS policy if we want archival backups like weeklies and monthlies and yearlies that are going to be kept longer than our standard retention. And then where we see some integration with something like the Lenovo platform is here in our advanced settings. So here we can see our backup mode, but we want to go over to this integration tab, and this is where we enable backup from storage snapshots. So primarily in a generic environment, what Veeam does is it uses the hypervisor to do the snapshotting of those machines, whether it's VMware, Hyper-V, or whatever. And we ask the hypervisor, hey, take a snapshot of this machine for me. I'm going to do a backup. Hypervisor creates that snapshot. Veeam goes ahead and uses it. Once it's done, releases that snapshot. Now, that works great, and that is what we do, 90% of the time. But that does have some impact on those production machines because we're taking snapshots, we're utilizing some resources on the hosts and from the hypervisor. So we have this integration where if you're using a backend storage device that does storage snapshotting, well, we can just use those storage snapshots instead of the virtual machine hypervisor snapshots. And that removes that workload from the production systems from that hypervisor and moves it off to that storage system that's already doing snapshots anyway. So we really improve our performance and reduce our impact on production environments by utilizing these storage snapshots instead. And something like the Lenovo V series, I believe, and the DE series utilize this that we can leverage. And then, of course, in the event that those storage snapshots aren't working for whatever reason, you can tell Veeam, hey, go ahead and fail over to the standard practice and use regular hypervisor snapshots if those storage snapshots aren't working. But if you don't want to allow that, we give you that option. You can say, hey, either it's storage snapshots or it's nothing. If that doesn't work, then just fail the job and I'll fix that and do something else because I don't want that impact on my production environment. So again, flexibility and control is what Veeam is all about. And so here we're backing up to a NAS device. We do some guest processing if we have to. By default, we don't actually go to the OS layer in those machines that we're backing up because we're doing it at the snapshot layer. However, if it's something like a SQL database or an Oracle database, something like that, where there's transaction logs, we can do application awareness so that we're making sure that we have an application consistent backup, not just a crash consistent backup. And then finally, our schedule. You probably want this to run automatically, although you certainly don't have to. but usually the default is like once a day, sometime after business hours. But it could be a monthly backup, could be every hour, could be on certain days of the week, certain times of the day. You can go ahead and customize this however you want. Again, whatever fits the business needs, you have that flexibility. And that's it. Our backup job is pretty much done. Obviously, there's way more that we can go into on the complexity and the customization and stuff. But we've done this backup and we're backing up this tiny server. Now, let's say this system has gone down. It's become corrupted. It's been deleted, whatever. We got to restore it, right? So we simply go here to restore VMware, and we're going to restore from a backup. And now, even though I'm doing snapshot-based backups, one thing to always remember is Veeam gives you the ability to do granular file-level recovery, even from that image-based backup. So we backed up that whole machine. If I just need to restore one file from it, I simply pick guest file restore, or one of these application item restores, which is a special version of that. This allows me to restore like a group policy in Active Directory, or an email in Exchange, or a table in SQL. These are special tools that Veeam has developed to interface with that particular data set. But for our purposes, for our demo here, let's go ahead and just restore the whole virtual machine. And I'm going to put it right back where it came from. So we're going to pick our machine. Let's pick from the infrastructure. And I can search for the machine I want to restore. In this case, it's my demo tiny server 1. And the restore point defaults to the most recent one, but if we wanted to pick a different point in time, we simply select point. And this machine is being backed up on multiple backup jobs because I do many different things with this demo environment, of course. And we simply drill down and we can see any point in time. We don't care whether it's a full or an incremental, but Veeam tells you, which is nice. You don't have to worry about that because Veeam will figure out whatever it needs to do the restoration you're asking for. But one thing I always like to point out here is those weeklies, monthlies, and yearlies that I mentioned briefly earlier. That's denoted here by this W and M and Y. Those are my archival backups. So I can see that even though I had 7 days of retention on this backup job, I've got backups going as far back as 345 days ago because I've got these monthlies and yearlies that I'm retaining as well. For our purposes, though, we're just going to leave it as this morning's backup. And now I can put this back where it came from, which is what we're going to do. Or let's say that host no longer exists, or I'm moving this machine for some reason. I can select a different host and different resources and put it somewhere else. Or let's say I'm cleaning up from ransomware and I'm doing restoration. I could do a staged restore, which puts this virtual machine in a sandbox temporarily so that I can scan it for malware, ransomware, whatever. I can run scripts and make changes to the data before it goes back to the production environment. So I'm not just reintroducing that corrupted data. But again, for our purposes, original location, we select next. And it's going to ask us for a reason for this backup. You don't have to give a reason, but it's always good practice for an audit trail of what you were doing that day. And then it's going to yell at me because we didn't go through the steps of deleting this virtual machine from the environment. So it's still powered on. And it's warning us that, hey, your machine's powered on. You probably shouldn't restore it. I'm going to double check that's the right one. And it's going to yell at me again. I'm going to triple check that's the right one so I don't mess anything up in the environment here. And we double check, here's all of our stuff. We'll tell it to power on and hit finish. Now, this restoration process here takes about 60 seconds. Your mileage will definitely vary unless you also have 64 megabyte Linux virtual machines that you use for demonstration purposes. But same number of clicks. It's really just that easy to just run through the wizard, do a restoration, and get that machine back up and running and powered on and like nothing ever happened. So that's it. Pratik, I'll throw it back to you.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, I love that double and triple check. You know, just don't want to make a mistake and ruin everything. So I appreciate that side of it. You know, I wish we just had more time, but you know, I want to be respectful of everyone's time. So you know, let's stop here for now. But I would love to have a round 2 with this panel in the future. You know, but before we conclude, I want to give each one of you a call to action, and to do that, I'm going to hand it over to Jamie Trukowski to discuss some of the key initiatives she's championing.
Yeah, thanks, Pratik. And thanks, everyone. Andrew, Alex, and Ryan, that was really great. Earlier, Ryan mentioned how a lot of partners, they transitioned to the cloud and they're coming back as hybrid when they realized that the cloud wasn't everything that they wanted it to be. So to help support that, we have a few different promos going on right now. First being the Lenovo Veeam promo. And this entire promo, it'll scale from SMB up to large enterprise, where you deploy a data center, so server, storage, and Veeam. You get 5% off of all the hardware through Lenovo and 15% off of the Veeam software. So I'll make sure to send that flyer as the follow-up to this with the link to the video. And the second one is for anyone selling on the IDG side of the business, and if you're selling workstations, we have a promo now where if you purchase 2 or more workstations, you'll get up to $1,500 off of the DE series Lenovo hardware. So if you guys have any outstanding quotes where you know that workstations were quoted out and you didn't receive the promo, please send it my way and we'll get that quoted out for you with the proper storage. And then lastly, you'll notice in the chat that I placed the link for the Booster Club as usual. So if you're not registered, please join the Booster Club so you can take advantage of things like our free pre-sale tech support, not only for Lenovo, but all across Ingram Micro. Our market development funds are available through there, as well as various demos. And then once you're registered for Booster, please go in and opt into our Yellowstone contest, where we're going to take our top 10 partners that show growth across the ISG and IDG sides of the business to Yellowstone later in 2023. So all of that is in the chat, and I'll send it in the follow-up as well. And that's it, Pratik.
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie. So that's it. Another session is in the books. What I want to say in the conclusion is really that, I want to thank everyone in the audience for their time today, along with my panel guests, Andrew Stammworthy with Veeam, Alex Perez-Puelles with Lenovo, and Ryan Scherrer with Lenovo. A special thanks to the Lenovo, Veeam, and Ingram Micro organizations for their continued partnership, leadership, and support. So, I'm not sure if you realize it, we're already in Q4, and Q4 is pretty much already, almost over at this point for me. So, the way I see it is, I always like to end with this one statement that I say, I want you to make this year your best year ever. So, but one thing I never, or at least failed to say is, if you're not sure how to do that, or you need help closing out 2022, or you have some storage opportunities, or you just want more info about those exclusive storage promos that Jamie discussed, reach out to the Ingram Micro team, because we can help you with, from engaging customers to finding solutions to getting you the best pricing. So really so you can win the deal. So, what else could you ask for? So, definitely reach out to us. So that's it for now. Thank you, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks,
Thanks,
guys.
Pratik.